The world we see isn't exactly what's real. We're not truly experiencing this moment as it happens, and nothing is quite what it seems. Our brains are constantly constructing our reality in real time, editing our memories as they form, operating across different time frames, and feeding us a story about the world that feels real. But what's actually going on? Who's really in control of our lives? There's a gap between reality and what we experience. Vision might be our main source of information about the world, but in truth, we only see a tiny, high-resolution thumbnail in our field of vision while the rest is blurry and out of focus. It doesn't feel that way because our brains use a clever trick to fill in the gaps. Every second, our eyes make 3 to 4 quick, jerky movements, called saccades, each lasting about 50 milliseconds. We scan our surroundings and our brains stitch those snapshots together into a seamless picture. During each saccade, our brains briefly shut down our vision to avoid motion blur. That means we're actually blind for around 2 hours every day. If we could see what our eyes really see, it would be chaotic. But instead, our brains fill in the blanks with their best guesses. And it doesn't stop there. Our brains completely edit our perception of time, too. Think about something simple like stirring milk into coffee. Light from the spoon reaches our eyes in 1.3 nanoseconds. The sound vibrations arrive at our ears in 1.2 milliseconds. Heat from the cup is picked up by our fingers and reaches our brains in about 50 milliseconds. These are 3 different inputs processed at different speeds. Yet we don't experience them separately. Our brains combine them into one smooth, connected moment. In reality, we're not living in the present. We're living in an edited version of the past. What we feel as now is actually something that happened 0.3 to 0.5 seconds ago. And even that isn't fully accurate. Our brains are constantly editing time and space in ways we don't notice. They make decisions without our conscious input. So, are we living in the past, the future, or just a made-up version of both? Let's imagine we're professional table tennis players. A ball zips across the table at 25 meters per second. Light from the ball reaches our eyes in nanoseconds, but our brains need around 100 milliseconds to process it. By then, the ball has already traveled the entire length of the table. If our brains only showed us where the ball was, we'd never be able to react in time. So instead, our brains predict where it will be based on its motion and show us that version, our fictional now. When we hit the ball, it feels like we're reacting in real time, but in truth, the decision was made before we were even aware. Our brains prepare multiple possible outcomes and select the best one at the last moment. We only ever experience the prediction that won. The others, the alternate versions of us, vanish before we are aware they existed. But this doesn't just happen in fast-paced sports. It's happening while we walk down the street. Our brains are simultaneously analyzing the past, managing the present, and predicting the future. They're already preparing our next steps before the feedback from our last one even arrives. If something unexpected happens, like slipping on a banana peel, our brains don't wait for conscious awareness. The balance system in our inner ears detects the change and triggers emergency reactions in the brainstem and spinal cord. Within 200 milliseconds, pre-programmed recovery motions kick in. Our arms shoot out, one leg stiffens, our core contracts, all before we consciously realize we're falling. We only catch up after the fact. This means our brains are constantly predicting and editing reality for us. But they're not just predicting the outside world, they're also predicting us. Our feelings of hunger, tiredness, and even our emotions aren't just reactions, they're forecasts. Our brains guess what we'll need based on past patterns and prepare us accordingly. That's why we start feeling tired or hungry at the same times each day, because our brains expect it, and so they make it happen. It's the same with emotions. When we go to a party, our brains don't wait to see how things turn out. They use past experiences to predict how we'll feel. Maybe it's excitement because close friends will be there, or anxiety, based on a memory of an awkward event. If our brains predict nervousness, they adjust our heart rate, hormone levels, and muscle tension in advance, actually making us feel anxious, confirming their prediction. It's a feedback loop. This might make us feel like we're just passengers in our own minds, experiencing whatever our brains decide for us. But that's not the whole story. While our brains and bodies handle most of the behind-the-scenes work, our conscious selves still matter. We're the storytellers. We shape the narrative. We decide what we want the future to look like. Our brains might be the butlers managing logistics, but we're the ones choosing where to go. What we are good at, as conscious beings, is big-picture thinking. We can step back, reflect, and rewrite the predictions. We can challenge the default settings. Sure, sometimes our brains and our conscious selves might disagree, but in the end, we're the authors of our own stories. Stories so powerful that we experience them as undeniable reality. And the best part? Our conscious minds are also great at appreciating life's simple pleasures, like being fascinated by the universe, laughing at a meme, or craving ice cream. So what if we trained our brains to be more than just a helpful butler? What if we could turn them into expert problem solvers, intuition machines, and critical thinkers? Maybe then, we'd not only better understand our reality, but actually reshape it into something even more exciting.